5 years into our marriage, I asked Anna for a divorce. She paused, pen hovering over the contract she was signing, and then she asked why. I looked down. My family's bankrupt. For her, that meant I had no more value. Besides, I'd smelled another man's cologne on her coat, a scent so strong it was suffocating. She was a notorious neat freak, someone who would never let anyone get that close. I'd been a hopeless romantic, always thinking that if I just married her, if we just spent enough time together, love would eventually grow. Anna herself had once asked me, "Do you really think marrying me will make me love you?" Now, I was finally letting go. The news of my family's bankruptcy came while I was in the middle of making dinner for her. My mom's voice trembled on the phone, choking back sobs before she finally managed to say it. "Noah, we're ruined. We've lost everything." The kitchen knife in my hand suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds and clattered to the floor. I opened my mouth, but no sound came out at first. "Mom, don't worry. I have money. I can sell my car." On the other end, her voice was thick with tears. "Your father is $70 million in debt." My head spun. I'd never faced anything like this. After we hung up, I walked out to the balcony and lit a cigarette. My wife was cheating, my family was in debt. And in that moment, I started to regret everything. Why had I been such a useless trust fund kid, with nothing in my head but chasing a girl? Anna didn't get home until evening. When she walked in, she went straight to her desk and started signing papers, acting as if I wasn't even there. It was only when I stood directly in front of her that she finally looked up. I took a deep breath. "Anna, let's get a divorce." The hand that was signing contracts finally stopped. She looked at me, then let out a short, derisive laugh, giving me that same look she always reserved for idiots. "What? My family's bankrupt." Bankrupt, which meant I was useless to her now. "And I smelled men's cologne on your coat. It was strong. You're obsessed with cleanliness. You'd never let anyone get that close." For the first time, Anna's face went completely blank. I managed a weak smile and slid the divorce papers in front of her. "Just sign it." I had a lawyer look over the terms. "See if they're to your satisfaction." Anna finally moved, taking the papers. She was stunningly beautiful, her allure at 27 only deepened by a mature confidence that made her even more captivating than before. She glanced at them for a few seconds, then set them on the table. "Noah, I think we can face this together, instead of just walking away at a time like this." I laughed. "But Anna, you don't love me. Why won't you sign? Being with me now will only cause you trouble." For a second, my heart couldn't help but beat faster. After all, this was the woman I had loved for 10 years. Could it be? But her response was a sigh. "I don't want to lie to you, but you look so much like him." "Like who?" Anna wouldn't answer. The next day, my mom called, her voice filled with a giddy excitement. "Noah, your father's debts have been covered." Anna helped. "Do you think she's finally fallen for you? I mean, it's been 7 years." "She must have by now." My face went pale, my hand clutching the phone, so tight my knuckles turned white. I saw her then. Anna was standing right outside her office building. She was wearing a black power suit with a pencil skirt, and next to her was a handsome man. He had a sunny smile, wore a crisp white shirt, and even his voice seemed to radiate warmth. "Anna, is Daisy still around?" And Anna's face lit up with a smile I had never seen before. I knew Daisy was a little mutt. I used to love playing with her, but every time Anna saw us, she'd scoop the dog away. Back then, I'd always ask, "I know you don't like me, but can I even play with your dog?" Anna would just frown, her face a mask of impatience. No, when I asked why not, over and over again, she finally relented. Because Daisy was a gift from someone very important to me. Daisy was treated like royalty. Even when Anna was at her poorest, she fed that dog the best food. I hung up on my mom and opened my phone's camera. I looked closely at my reflection, then back at the man with Anna. We looked incredibly similar from the eyes to the lips, but his face was brighter, more intelligent than mine. The man slipped a hand from his pocket, wrapped it around Anna's waist, and kissed her on the lips. Anna's face slowly turned red, like a young girl falling in love for the first time. It finally clicked for my romance-addled brain. I was just a substitute. No wonder when I first offered her money for marriage, She was disgusted and said cruel things but still agreed. At the time, another, wealthier suitor was pursuing her, but she turned him down. I had laughed then, saying, "Anna, don't regret this. This is all I have, but that guy has so much more." She had frowned. "I'm not for sale." She had stared at my face then, and I thought it was because I was better looking than the other guy. It turned out it was just because I looked like her long-lost love. I don't know how I made it home. It felt like my soul had left my body. I still had to pay Anna back. She covered my father's debts, so I had to repay her. I had lived for 25 years without ever worrying about money, but in that moment, it was all I could think about. After much thought, I started selling off my watches and everything else of value. It all added up to just over $100,000. I put all the money onto a debit card and packed up everything that was mine in the apartment. It was better if I wasn't there for a while. My mom once said that while I wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, I had one good quality. I knew when to quit. If Anna wanted to bring her old flame back here, I should be the one to make way for them. But just as I was packing my things, I ran into her at the door. And not just her, but the man who had kissed her earlier that day. He smiled brightly. Imlil. Lao. I remember the name. I had seen it once on a balloon Anna and I released from a rooftop. I had stared at the name. She carefully wrote in permanent marker, "Leo, find your happiness." "Who's Leo?" I had asked. That day, against a backdrop of the city lights, Anna's voice was tinged with sadness. Someone very important in my life. I didn't ask who. The past was the past. I was the one by her side now. That was the same night she kissed me for the first time. Now I stood there like a pathetic clown, forcing a smile. "I'm Noah." Seeing my packed suitcase, Anna frowned. "Where are you going this late?" I blinked, trying hard to keep my composure. "To a hotel." So useless. In front of my cheating wife and her lover, I couldn't do a single thing. Anna grabbed my suitcase. "What are you going to a hotel for?" I shrugged. "You cheated. I'm making room for you too." Saves me the heartache of watching. Anna's expression froze for a second. Then she turned to Leo. "Sorry, can you give us a minute?" Inside the room, Anna's face was cold. "He has a kid now. There's nothing between us anymore." Her expression was tinged with a lonely resignation. There wasn't before, and there won't be in the future. I raised my hand and slapped her across the face. "Get out. You're fucking disgusting." That night, I moved into a hotel. No matter how much Anna argued, I didn't look back. Finally, her face hardened. "Fine, leave. Just don't come begging for my attention later." Anna had a cold personality. Every time she got angry, I was the one who had to beg her to talk to me. Once I spent a whole day out with friends and didn't come home. Anna threw a massive fit. Her version of a fit was just giving me the silent treatment. It took me a week of groveling before she finally warmed up. After that, I never dared to stay out all day again. People in our circle would joke, "What? Are you completely whipped?" I just shrug and smile helplessly. "She's possessive. I mean, she loves me, right?" I let out a bitter laugh now. "Don't worry, I won't be calling you." I handed her the debit card. "I'll pay you back the $70 million. There's $170,000 on this card for now." For the first time, Anna's face turned ashen. "You want to talk about money with me?" I nodded. "Yeah. If not now, when?" "Oh, and by the way," I looked at her, "we should go finalize the divorce in a few days." "I'm serious." After I said that, Anna's expression changed. She stood there, her breathing unsteady. "Divorce." I didn't give her a second glance and just walked away. For the next few days, I stayed in the hotel, memories of the past drowning me like a tidal wave. When I first suggested divorce, it was an impulsive decision. Now, thinking about it, my heart twisted in pain. I loved Anna. I had loved her for so long that saying the word divorce felt like my heart was bleeding. But no matter what, life had to go on. I sent out a few resumes and finally got an offer for an internship at a company. A few days later, while working a part-time job at a jewelry store, I ran into Anna again. She was with Leo. They looked close, a perfect couple. Anna saw me too. The people with her started teasing. "Hey man, fancy seeing you here." Leo shot me a broad smile. "It's Noah, right? I saw you at your wedding 5 years ago. You probably didn't see me, but I remember you." So Leo had been a ghost in my life for 5 years already. This time, Anna didn't act like she did before. Her face was a cold mask. She snapped at the friend who called me man. Don't call him that. Anna's pride was immense. After what I'd said to her last time, she was holding a grudge. Just then, my manager nudged me. Noah, the customers want to see some watches. Don't you have any sense? Go help them. I bit my lip. Are you looking for a watch? Anna had always been calculated with her emotions, never crossing the line, even when she was angry. But this time, she said, yes, could Mr. Miller please help Leo try on some watches? I'll buy whatever he wants, no matter the price. A look of delight spread across Leo's face. I nodded and led him to the display cases. Leo took his time, deliberately making things difficult for me. Finally, he chose a matching pair of couples' watches. He put on a men's watch and smiled smugly. It suits me perfectly. He turned around. Anna, you should try yours on too. It'll look great on you. I put the watch on Anna's wrist, a wave of nausea churning in my stomach. I looked up. That'll be $87,000. Will that be card or Apple Pay? After Anna paid, I looked at her. By the way, Anna, I took off the watch from my own wrist. You can have this back. Anna's face visibly paled. Even her friends, who had been teasing us, fell silent. Finally, Anna spoke. I don't take back gifts. I nodded, then tossed the watch into a nearby trash can. Have a nice day. Anna's face stiffened. She turned to her friends. Let's go. After they left, I ran to the bathroom and threw up until my stomach was empty. I looked up, and the mirror reflected my pathetic state, my eyes red and raw. Anna wasn't worth crying over. When I came out, my manager said, that was a big sale. But Noah, are you okay? You look terrible. I rubbed my eyes and forced a smile. I'm Phoenix. The past 5 years had become a complete joke today, the day Anna brought Leo in to buy watches. I threw away everything that reminded me of her. Cleaning out each item felt like erasing a memory. That night, after leaving with Leo, Anna called me. She sounded like she regretted it, her voice thick with the smell of alcohol, not entirely sober. Noah, I only bought Leo that watch to make you angry. You were being unreasonable, so I wanted to teach you a lesson. I didn't really want to buy it for him, but you kept provoking me. She slurred her words. I just drank a bottle of whiskey, and my stomach hurts when I drink. I saw the medicine you left for me, and it made me think of you. Anna had stomach problems, but always forgot her medicine. I had bought tons of antacids and stashed them in every corner of the living room, so she could always find them. When I did it, she had laughed at me. Can you not be such a mother hen? And now she was using that as an excuse to call me. I looked down. Anna, you're just making me sick. With that, I hung up. As the last postcard burned to ash, I took a deep breath. Time to move on. I used to be stubborn, thinking one person was it for me. But a heart knows pain after it's been broken, and I didn't want to hurt for Anna anymore. That Sunday, I had some free time, so I called her. Let's go get the divorce certificate today. There was silence on the other end. Just as I thought the call had dropped, I heard her voice, muffled. The divorce certificate? You're just angry at me right now. I laughed, exasperated. You make me sick. Anyway, there are plenty of ways to get a divorce. I don't mind seeing you in court. After I said that, the line went dead. I looked at my phone, and I had hung up. I didn't bother with her after that. In my mind, we were already done. No matter how much of a fool I'd been, I wasn't going back for more. That week, my friend Ethan dragged me to a party. I realized it had been a long time since I'd gone to one with him. It was my day off, anyway. At the party, I ran into a lot of familiar faces. The news that Leo was back by Anna's side had spread quickly through our circle. Everyone looked at me with a mixture of pity. I downed my drink in frustration. What was with those looks? Ethan slung an arm around my neck. Noah, everyone knew how crazy you were about Anna. You finally marry her, and now she's cheating. Of course they feel sorry for you. I looked down and gave a bitter smile. It was true. When I was chasing Anna, everyone knew. I made her lunch myself. She said it tasted bad, so I went and took cooking classes. I pursued her relentlessly, without a second thought for the consequences. Now that we were splitting up, all I got were looks of pity. Just then, Ethan froze. Anna's here. I never expected her to show up. Anna hated parties. She used to frown whenever I went to one. Why do you always have to go to these things? To make her feel secure, I rarely went out with Ethan. But thinking back now, how much of what she said was true? She wore a long white dress and was immediately surrounded by people the moment she walked in. She didn't even glance at them, walking straight up to me. If you're done being angry, come home with me. This was probably the first time she had ever taken the initiative with me. Before this, it was always me chasing her. What makes you think I'm just angry? I stared into her eyes. Anna, cheating is a deal breaker. It's not a one-time thing. I'm not going back with you. There were a lot of people around, and Anna cared a lot about her image. The atmosphere grew tense. In the end, she let go of my arm. She looked down, shot me an incredibly frustrated glance, and turned to leave. The crowd immediately started whispering. Wait, did Anna only come to this party to find Noah? I thought Noah was wasting his time chasing her, but I guess it worked after all. Ethan chuckled. They're just a bunch of gossips, Noah. Don't pay them any mind. Of course I wouldn't. Halfway through the party, there was a commotion at the entrance. A large group of people rushed towards the door. Ethan nudged me and whispered, Noah, you know why so many big names from the industry are here tonight? I put down my glass, my curiosity piqued. As the woman at the door came into view, I heard Ethan's voice again. Because this party is hosted by the biggest player in our circle, Chloe Shaw. As Ethan finished speaking, I saw her. When Chloe Shaw looked up, her eyes met mine. Her almond-shaped eyes immediately locked onto me. The look was more intense than it was 5 years ago, filled with an aggression and a depth I couldn't decipher. She quickly walked towards me, her voice as smooth as a violin. Long time no see. Ethan nearly fainted. What? Noah, you know Chloe Shaw? How should I put it? Chloe and I were childhood friends. Our families were so close that our parents had arranged for us to be married. Chloe was always by my side, like a protective older sister. But then I met Anna in college. Compared to Chloe, I was more drawn to Anna's cool, distant personality. So I threw a fit and demanded to call off my engagement to Chloe. Everyone told me not to, but Chloe didn't say a word. She went with me to talk to our families. She said, Noah, your happiness is the most important thing. It's your right to love who you want. I can't keep you tied to me. With Chloe's help, calling off the engagement was difficult, but we managed it. As we walked out of her family's estate, Chloe's voice was pleading. Noah, if you're not happy, will you please think of me? I'll always be waiting for you. I frowned at the time. Chloe, I love Anna. You should find someone else. After the engagement was called off, I only heard that Chloe was moving abroad to expand her business. She didn't even show up to my wedding. She was gone for 5 years, and now she was finally back. I stood up. Long time no see. Chloe was more mature than she was 5 years ago, her eyes sparkling. She was even more stunning than before. I once told her with a smile, Chloe, has anyone ever told you that you have beautiful eyes? She had shaken her head. No, later, I asked around, and people said her eyes were as gentle as water. You mean when she's looking at you, right? Normally, Chloe's gaze was as cold as ice. Shaking myself in the memory, I asked, are you back because your business overseas is established now? Chloe looked at me, her eyes holding a possessiveness I had never seen before. Yes and no. She blinked. Noah, what if I told you I came back to steal you away? Chloe's words were so direct, they caught me completely off guard. By the time we left the party, the way people looked at me had changed. After all, Chloe was an even bigger deal than Anna. So if Noah has Chloe Shaw in his corner, didn't Noah and Chloe have an arranged marriage that they called off? Chloe ignored the chatter and looked at me. I'll give you a ride. I was about to refuse, but Ethan cut in. That's great, Chloe. Please take care of our boy Noah. Chloe smiled. Then please get in. I had no choice but to get into her car. Chloe fastened my seatbelt for me. I don't know if it was intentional, but she leaned in very close, so close I could smell the light fragrance on her. Our breaths mingled. I turned my head slightly, but my lips accidentally brushed against her forehead. My eyes widened, and I heard Chloe's muffled laugh. Noah, I was just trying to buckle you in. My face instantly flushed red. Chloe was much more aggressive than she was 5 years ago. She started the car. Suddenly, my phone rang. It was Anna. I answered, and all I could hear was her ragged breathing, like she was furious. Her voice was laced with ice. Noah, who are you with right now? Each word was deliberate, her voice trembling. I frowned. Who I'm with is none of your business. Anna's voice continued. I saw you two kiss. I was near your car. I looked up, and, sure enough, I saw Anna's white dress standing out not far from Chloe's car. I hung up immediately. Inside the car, Chloe's voice was cheerful. I can't believe she saw that. I hope she doesn't blame me. I rubbed my temples. She has no right to. When we got out of the car, Chloe unbuckled my seatbelt and stared straight at me. See you tomorrow. I nodded, but I didn't expect to find someone waiting at the door of my rental apartment. It was Anna. She stared at me, her eyes bloodshot. Noah, what is the meaning of this? This Anna was a stranger. She had never shown such an out-of-control expression before. She used to say no one in the world was worth losing her composure over. But now her eyes were red. Noah, give me an explanation. I remained expressionless. Anna, we're over. Whatever I do from now on has nothing to do with you. Actually, if it has to be about something, it's about the money. I remembered something yesterday. The villa my dad bought for us is probably worth $70 million on the market now, right? So if you sell it, you won't lose any money. As soon as I finished, Anna screamed, I'm not selling it. She stared at me, her eyes red-rimmed. Noah, we had so many good memories in that villa. We lived there for 3 years. We had lived in that villa since we got married. We planted flowers together, fed the goldfish together. It was there that Anna had once kissed me and said she wanted to be with me forever. It was true. That villa held too many of our memories. But I just looked down and gave a sarcastic smile. Come on, Ms. Liu. Your old flame is probably waiting for you at home. A look of regret finally crossed Anna's face. Noah, there's nothing between him and me. I can pretend today never happened, as long as you come back with me. Anna was unbelievable. When I was trying everything to please her, she looked down on me, even used me as a substitute. Now that I wanted to leave, she was having second thoughts. Get lost. I saw Anna in front of my apartment building. She must have been sitting there all night. When she saw me, she tried to stand up but collapsed from weakness. Noah, her voice was pleading, but I just said, excuse me, I need to get out. By the way, if you're still sitting here when I get back, I'm calling security. I didn't look at the desolate expression on Anna's face as I left. By the time I finished work for the day, it was already evening. I didn't expect Chloe to be waiting for me downstairs. She smiled when she saw me and handed me a bouquet of flowers. Ethan told me you were working here. It was a bouquet of fragrant lilies. Sitting in the car, I couldn't help but blush, remembering what happened yesterday. When I got back, Anna was still stubbornly sitting in front of my door. I was holding the lilies, the smile not yet faded from my face. It froze when I saw her. Anna gave a bitter smile. Did she drive you home? I frowned impatiently and pulled out my phone to call security. Under the dim light, Anna looked incredibly fragile. Noah, you weren't like this before. Tears started streaming down her face. It was the first time I had ever seen Anna cry. She was sobbing like a child, completely losing her composure. Noah, are you going to abandon me? I ignored her. In my eyes, Anna was acting like a lunatic. In the end, security had to drag her away. She, who had always been so proud, looked utterly defeated. A month passed like that. Chloe would always pick me up from work, and I felt a soft spot in my heart slowly opening up for her. Anna didn't appear in my life for that whole month, and it was peaceful. Until one night, when Chloe and I were having Korean barbecue, I got a call from one of Anna's friends. It was quiet on her end. Hey, did you and Anna have a fight? Anna's been crying nonstop. When I got to her place, she was lying on the floor, reeking of alcohol. She just stared at me for a second, then hugged me and started crying. She was calling your name, and I think her hand was bleeding. She was clutching a diary. I asked to see it, but she wouldn't let me. Hey man, do you think you should come check on her? A diary. I remembered it. I had written a thick diary about my 5 years with Anna. It was filled with little things like what she liked to eat, what she couldn't eat. I observed her carefully, noting which dish she ate more of at dinner, which one made her frown. I wrote down all the sweet moments we shared, sometimes even drawing little illustrations. When Anna saw it, she called it childish. Back when I loved her, I didn't care. I don't know when it started, But the sweet things in the diary became fewer and fewer until I couldn't find any sweetness in our real life anymore. On the phone, her friend's voice continued, "Come on, just come see her." Just then, Chloe spoke up. "Noah wants a brisket?" Chloe's voice was gentle. A moment later, I heard the sound of a bottle shattering through the phone. Anna's voice, full of rage, came through. "He's with you? It's 11 at night, and you're still together? Noah, don't tell me you're living together." Chloe raised an eyebrow. "Noah, she sounds really mad." Her voice was slightly provocative. Then I heard something else being thrown on the other end. Anna was screaming into the phone. "You're not allowed to touch him." I sighed. "Anna, I don't want to get any more calls from you, unless it's to set a date for the divorce. And if you won't, I can file myself." After hanging up, I looked at Chloe. She had an innocent expression on her face. "Brisket?" I nodded. By the time we finished dinner, it was midnight. Chloe and I talked a lot about the past. She was lying on the sofa. The sofa in my apartment was big enough for a 6-foot man to sleep on. I turned off the lights and walked over to her. "Good night." But she grabbed my wrist. Chloe's eyes were shining. "Noah, you haven't told me no yet. Does that mean I still have a chance?" Her gaze was like a deep pool of water. For many years, she had looked at me with that same expression, staying by my side through everything. I nodded. My future shouldn't have Anna in it. Chloe couldn't help but hug me. Her heart was beating fast. I belatedly realized my neck was wet. Chloe was crying. The tears streamed down onto my shoulder. "Chloe, don't cry," I said. She just buried her head in my shoulder. After a long moment, she said in a muffled voice, "I'm not letting go this time." Her voice was filled with a fierce determination. "You're the one who gave me this chance. Don't think I'll let go again. I let go once 5 years ago, and you weren't happy. I've regretted it every single day. I don't know who kissed who first, but eventually, Chloe stopped crying. The next day, I saw Anna at my door again. It had only been a month, but she looked much more haggard. She was a mess, reeking of alcohol, a stark contrast to her usual polished appearance. She was just sitting there, empty bottles piled up against the wall. When she saw me, a look of utter despair crossed her face. "Those are Chloe's shoes by the door, aren't they? She slept here last night." I didn't say anything, but then Chloe came out of the apartment. She had a satisfied look on her face. She saw me and said softly, "Noah, I'm going to go get you some congee. I remember you used to love the congee from that place on Canal Street." Then, as if just noticing her, Chloe looked at Anna on the ground. "Isn't that Ms. Liu? Don't tell me you sat here all night." Anna was pale, her eyes downcast. The air was so still you could hear a pin drop. After a long moment, she finally looked up. "Noah, you used to love me so much. How could you just let go like that? What am I supposed to do?" She was crying again. "Noah, how could you just move on?" I took a deep breath. "Anna, don't act like you're the victim here. You were the one who cheated. Coming to me now is useless. And we should get the divorce finalized in the next few days, or I'll see you in court." A few days later, Anna finally went with me to sign the divorce papers. As we walked out of the city clerk's office, she collapsed onto the ground, as if all the strength had been drained from her. I remembered when we went to get our marriage license. I had smiled and said, "We're going to be together forever." Anna had coolly replied, "Who knows what will happen? Very few people stay together forever." I had pouted and called her a buzzkill. But when we took the photo, she couldn't help but let a small smile slip. It was faint, but the camera caught it. Now, I was holding a divorce certificate, and Chloe was waiting for me nearby. When Chloe saw the certificate in my hand, a corner of her mouth lifted. "Let's go." From behind us, Anna's voice called out, "Noah." I turned and saw her red-rimmed eyes. "Will you ever think of me in the future?" I said coldly, "No. People like you aren't worth remembering. You're too disgusting." Beside me, Chloe added, "So shameless, saying something so pathetic. Not like me." I couldn't help but smile and play along. "You're the best." A year later, Chloe and I got married. I gave her the grandest wedding, filled with her favorite lilies. Many people from our circle came. I also saw Anna. She wasn't invited. When Chloe saw her, she frowned. "What is she doing here?" I frowned too. Having your ex-wife at your wedding is definitely disgusting. I walked up to Anna. If I remember correctly, Ms. Liu was not on the guest list for this wedding. My words were blunt. A look of disappointment crossed Anna's face. "Can't I even come to see you?" I smiled and said, word by word, "No. Because it makes me sick." Chloe had security escort Anna out. Before she left, Anna's face was ashen, as if her soul had been ripped out. Chloe scoffed. What's she pretending for? Hasn't she been with Leo this whole year? It was true. Over the past year, Anna and Leo had gotten together. I heard Leo used some underhanded tactics to make it happen. He went on Twitter and exposed their past, saying how much Anna had loved him, but then dumped him because he had a kid from a previous relationship. The story went viral, but netizens quickly dug up his role as the other man. Under public pressure, Anna got together with Leo, but they never even had a wedding. The whole sordid affair became a joke in our circle, and both of their reputations took a hit. No one respected them. In the past year, Anna had been drinking heavily. Her company wasn't doing well, and with the bad press, her company's stock had plummeted. But none of that was my problem anymore. I took Chloe's hand. It was soft. "Chloe, from now on, we're going to be together forever." Chloe looked down at me, her gaze unwavering, just like it had always been. After Noah's wedding, Anna started drinking every day, much more heavily than before. People warned her to stop, that it was bad for her health. She would just frown. She felt that if she didn't drink, there was an emptiness inside her. Besides, going home to a face that looked so much like Noah's, but wasn't, was torture. That face didn't have Noah's kindness. Leo wouldn't make her hangover soup or tell her to drink less. But Noah would. Every comparison made Anna miss Noah more. She had actually met Noah in a bar. He had been spoiled by his family, dressed head to toe in designer brands, laughing loudly on a sofa. He was handsome, especially under the scent of brandy that night, devastatingly so. Anna knew he was a good-for-nothing, a trust fund kid, but looking closer, he resembled the one that got away. Anna's heart skipped a beat. She was smart and pragmatic. Her first love was already abroad, married. He was unattainable. So that night, she deliberately made sure he saw her. He was as foolish as she expected, immediately captivated by her looks. Egged on by his friends, he came over, blushing, to ask for her number. Noah, can I get your number?" Amid the laughter of their friends, she took out her phone. "I don't give my number out easily." After that, everything he did was exactly as she predicted. His clumsiness. Noah was really so stupid. That's what she thought when she watched him try to bake her a birthday cake. But she still said, "Let me help you." Her attempt was even worse than his. For some reason, the cake turned into a competition, and she ended up making a beautiful one. She looked down at her own creation. It was ugly, shapeless, like something a witch in a fairy tale would make. But Noah still said, "Anna, it's great." At that moment, her heart felt like it had been squeezed, a slight sourness spreading through her. No one had ever been like that with her. And in that instant, when she looked at Noah, her heart beat for him. But she didn't know it then. She had loved Leo, and even her relationship with Noah was largely because he looked like Leo. When Leo came back, she found out he was divorced, but she never seriously considered getting back with him. The love of her youth was important, but he couldn't compare to the man at home. She admitted that when Leo returned, she had been tempted. She got closer to him, but the closer she got, the more she realized that somewhere along the way, the person she loved had become Noah. So when Noah first asked for a divorce, she panicked. But she couldn't refuse Leo. Her first love, once unattainable, high up on a pedestal, had come back and lowered himself, becoming reachable. She wanted both. She was that pragmatic, that greedy. And in the end, it led to a disaster she could never undo.